Welcome, this is David the Real Med White, and this video is going to be something that kind of annoyed me for a very long time, for a couple of years even. And I also want to note that this is not a pro-capitalist apologetic. If you want that, you can go somewhere else. I am not, let's say, invested in that whole stuff enough anymore. I used to be very invested. I'm not as invested anymore. So whether you're siding on the side of capitalism or not, I don't really mind anymore. I don't really care. But there has been a consistent problem that I have witnessed, seeing a lot of anti-capitalistic argumentation and rhetoric. And generally speaking, the main problem I have is that the term capitalism seems way too vague these days. And what I mean by that is that just yesterday I listened to a guy talking about this global capitalistic scheme on live TV, and China is part of this global capitalistic scheme, and all of these countries, the USA, they're all part of this globalist capitalist scheme, and they do X, Y, Z, and they do all of these things. And some of the stuff you talked about, I agree. I mean, yes, that's probably true. But what bugs me is, what does capitalism mean when you're saying capitalism? And from my personal experience, right, I used to debate this whole thing with my cousin. She also talked about all of this capitalist system, she knows so much about what it does. But when I asked her to, what do you mean by capitalism? What does capitalism mean? She couldn't give a proper answer. And when for example, when I say capitalism, I use it in a very technical sense, and you might say I'm autistic for that, but I always use it in a technical sense, which most of the time the technical sense is any economic system that promotes that's too vague as well. But the idea of private property is very central in capitalism, and that's kind of what it is. And you could say socialism and capitalism, especially in political discourses, defined by capitalism as being the more pro private property. Socialism is more the anti private property. It's more communal. The property is more communally based, and it kind of moves. Both systems move from that. So there's different strands of each system. And that's kind of what I have in mind. And so when someone says to me this grand capitalistic, when someone says to me this grand, that did not make any sense. But when someone tells me about this grand capitalistic scheme, it seems to me that he's really talking about something else. That these people are talking about something else. And this image is, I think, very illustrative of kind of the meme argument. Like, this is the stupidest meme-ish propaganda I've seen, but it works, right? It's stupid, but it works. And you have like, oh yeah, the underdog effect. Like, we are the ones who do everything. We work hard. We do everything. But somehow, magically, all of our money goes to the top. But somehow we do everything, but somehow we get exploited because bad, evil people exploit us, and we're all good people with good hearts. We never do bad things. The elite always exploits it. Now, is there truth about this whole elite stuff and how they exploit people? Yes, that is true. But at the same time, this is taken to the mega extreme, where people on the other side, they act as if they're squeaky clean. And I'm obviously going to be taking the side of the other people, right? The non-elite people, I'm taking their side. I'm pro them. But when we're talking about rhetoric, this seems to be the popular rhetoric that's going around. It's that just being the bottom bitch seems like the best thing you can do. If you're the bottom bitch, you're actually the best person. It's very strange. It's very absurd. And kind of my point is that, I mean, look at the top, like, just money, and it's the capitalism. Like, what? There's no there's no structure to this propaganda piece. And this is what when people talk about capitalism, this is what I have in mind. It's just nonsense and idiocy. So it's hardworking people that get exploited. And by the way, marginalized, like propaganda of marginalization, that happens with the colonized, that happens with feminists, homosexuals. They exploit this, right? Those groups actually pretty much Well, the colonized don't exploit it, but they are used by the elite, supposedly against the elite. Supposedly, we're supposed to believe that. We're supposed to believe that, right? And what is it advertised as? Oh, the people on the bottom, right? They're rioting. They're against it. They're against the top system. The top system, which is money. And it kind of implies money is evil. Capitalism, money, evil. Religious people, evil. War people, evil. Ruler, evil. Only good are like people that work. and and this idea is very, very generally, and everyone tries to be this bottom bitch group. Like everyone tries to put themselves as the bottom bitch. Professors that go to really high level universities and their students, they want to be bottom bitches, right? Politicians, they want to be bottom bitches and part of the bottom bitch society. Elite, they pretend to be the bottom bitches and they pretend to be in solidarity with them. And when that happens all the time, you have to start asking questions. You have to start wondering, what's going on over here? What does that have to do with capitalism? Well, most anti-capitalistic propaganda is really, when we try to translate it, it's really that. It's really just a race to being the bottom bitch, a race to being the most marginalized people. And I know I'm very late in making this video because what I'm saying is pretty much what a lot of people said in 2015 and 2016. But we see this still today, right? We see this dynamic for a very long time in these last couple of years. And now that people are starting to forget about it a little bit, I felt like it might be a good idea to remember what's going on in this world. So again, I would like to reiterate, this is not a pro-capitalistic apologetic. I'm not invested in that. So I'm not really invested in, I'm not emotionally invested in it. I don't really care. But this kind of was a pet peeve of mine because, as I said, and this whole video is about, what does capitalism mean here? Because it seems like if you ask 10 or 15 intellectuals about what capitalism is, they're all going to say the different thing. They're all going to say different things, but it has become a buzzword. It has become the new boogeyman, and it's used ironically by the elite that is supposedly critiquing against them. And we have to kind of ask ourselves, how can we let this happen? Thank you all for watching this. Like this video and share it around. Shill me, give me subscribers. I already said like my video, and I don't know, just give me engagement. I'm desperate. I'm just joking. Thank you all for watching. God bless you all.